How's it going?
It's going.
It's going. You
It's
got
going.
you got two stories for me.
I've got two stories, one good and one bad.
All right, cool.
So
Um,
yeah,
yeah, I think I started last time, right?
I think so. Yeah. So it's my turn.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to the official Pixel Benders podcast. We're gonna cover some topics, some good, some bad, some weird.
Yeah.
And we're gonna throw our hot takes alongside those recent topics. So yeah.
Yeah.
Take it away,
So
Chris. Yeah.
starting off strong. You've heard of Kerbal Space Program, right?
Wait, are we starting with bad news or good news?
Bad news.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I have.
Okay. So were you aware that they were making a second one?
No.
I did not hear about this until relatively recently. And unfortunately, it was not under good circumstances.
Bummer.
So many games, as you know,
Hmm.
will release to early access. It's hit or miss, whether it's worth it or whatever. Subnautica is one game I know that has been very much worth it for early access. It's always been the devs have listened to the people and the gamers and everything, and they've always made changes based on what they see the gamers want or their needs or whatever. And there's some news revolving around that, but that's for another time. But Kerbal Space Program 2 also went into early access.
Hmm.
I don't know when it was first available. However, for at least a year now, the devs have not posted any updates. They've not posted any news stories. They've not posted any patches, nothing for a year.
Hmm.
And according to Steam, which is where they have it listed, if they do not do that for 1 year, they will put a warning on there telling people that this has not been updated or anything for a year, that nothing's been done for a year, and at that point it is considered abandonware.
Oh.
Yes. However, as of yet, anyone who bought the game previously has not received any refunds.
Hmm.
And I don't think that's okay.
So it's the same company doing the sequel?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I guess someone took over partway through, from what I understand.
Uh-huh.
So it's not the original company that made the first one. Which this is a story as old as time. Some indie devs start a company. They put all their hard work into it. The game does really well. A AAA company says, "Hey, we want a part of that. We want a piece of that pie." They buy them out and ruin everything, right?
Right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
so we don't know what's happening behind the scenes, if the company went under, if they just gave up, if they don't have any plans, because again, they've not heard anything from the devs for over a year.
Since November, it looks like.
Yeah.
Is that what you said? You said November?
I don't know, but it's I guess Steam's policy is that if it's been over a year, that is it November of last year?
Yeah, it's so I'm looking at a forum here, like it's KerbalSpaceProgram.com in their forum.
Uh-huh.
Is Kerbal Space Program 2 dead? Haven't been here in a while. And it just says, I just saw the last update on Steam. Okay, so was it the beginning of 2024?
Yeah.
This is November now, and then just big letters, yes, for now. Everyone is gone, no one works there anymore. Yeah, oof, crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I personally think that Steam should be the bigger person and give refunds.
Well, I mean, it kind of depends like how many people, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
why should Steam take the loss of another company? Like basically Steam should enforce the other company to give refunds.
that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like what Sony did with like Cyberpunk and fucking what was that latest one? Concord
Oh yeah.
and all that shit. Like
Yeah.
sure Sony gave refunds, but I'm sure they collected that money from the original company. So if anything, Steve can give refunds and then do what they did is, come knocking on fucking the
Yeah.
door and be like, "Hey, you owe us for this game you didn't publish."
Yeah. Didn't
So
finish
I guess you're
releasing.
right. I guess you're right. If Steam takes the initiative, then that company kind of has to follow suit,
Hmm.
pun intended.
Yeah. But it's a trend that's happening all too often.
Yeah.
I guess there's been several other games that's happened to. Most I've never heard of or never tried or anything. But yeah, it's bad. It's not good. And I don't know. It's just like I don't. Obviously, things happen. Companies go under. Things happen. You know, I don't know what caused the developers to stop working on it, or giving any updates, or even like saying what's going on. Like, I don't understand why they can't just say, "Listen, we've reached a point where we've broken even, or we can't afford to do this anymore, or whatever," and just be open and honest, and like, we're not going to work on this anymore. We're just going to stop working on this. This is, as far as we're going to get for now, or it'll be a long time before we can do that anymore, or whatever. You know,
Hmm.
just be open and honest with us, and let the consumers decide what they want to do.
Yeah.
It's and this is I think a big problem stemming from our society today, is we're no longer given the choice because they're not being honest with us.
Yeah.
It's almost as if they think like, oh, they're too fragile, or they're too upset, or they don't want to know the truth, they can't handle the truth, whatever it may be. So instead we'll just disappear, or hide, or whatever, until it all blows over.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. I don't appreciate that. I would much rather a company be honest and say, "Listen, we had plans on completing this game. We wanted to make a beautiful game for you guys. Unfortunately, because of one circumstance or another, we weren't able to finish, or we had to postpone it or something, and at least update us on what's going on, because then it's not considered abandonware.
Hmm.
Then it's
Yeah.
still in early access, but again, people can decide, do I want to buy this or not?
Yeah, and I mean, they could also go the route of like some other companies who have like kind of said like we don't have the resources like you did, or
Hmm.
like you said, and like give it to the community who purchased it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just kind of be like, look, this is what we got. If you guys got the skills for it, here you go. You know,
Yeah.
and refund them the money and just be like, here's all the assets and shit. We can't continue.
But yeah, I don't know. And then the fact that Steam is still on the Steam like store available, I
Hmm.
don't I don't know how I feel about that either. you know,
Right?
um,
What the fuck?
because it's not their policy to take it off. They just have to put a warning on there that there's not been any updates or anything for over a year.
Hmm.
Um, but at that point, if it's considered abandonware, shouldn't you at least like temporarily make it not available? Put a warning on there, like, because this has not been updated for over a year, and we've not heard anything from the devs. We were temporarily, not that the people, and I don't know how it works, because it could make it to where the people who already have access to the early access firmware, if they take it off the store, I don't know if it means that they can no longer play it.
Oh, like people that already have it?
Yeah,
No, because I mean, it's kind of like how I have PT on my PS4, even though it's delisted, as long as I
okay,
don't uninstall it, it should still
yeah,
be playable.
okay,
So it should still exist on their computers. It's not like what was it, The Division? Like The Division 2, I think it was,
oh
like
yeah, yeah.
got killed and like uninstalled from people's computers.
Mhm.
Like they sent like a kill switch, which is kind of fucked.
Yeah.
I don't think these guys have the wherewithal to do all that shit. It's a
Yeah.
small company, but yeah, I mean, yeah.
So I think that Steam should do something like that. Maybe delist it for now. Put a thing on there that says temporarily, or until further notice, whatever they want to put,
Yeah.
and then give a time frame for the company to come out and say what's going on. For
Hmm.
someone to say something, and then if they don't say something within a certain amount of time, then at least then go ahead and refund everyone, and go after them for the money after that. So,
Yeah. Well, that's a
but
bummer. That's
yeah.
no good news, Chris. I don't like that.
Yeah, and it's I guess they were working with Unreal Engine 5, so it looked beautiful,
Yeah.
but a lot of the physics stuff in the early access does not work really well.
Why did they why didn't they just stick to 4?
I don't know. I don't know, because the thing about Kerbal Space Program is, like, as far as I know, nobody was asking for it to look really good.
Right.
The thing about it was the realism of the or
The
close
physics.
to the realism of the physics, the orbital mechanics, the way the rockets work and everything. That was the part that was the thing that drew people in, you know, was that it had that all that realism to it as far as you could go with a video game, obviously. Because a lot of that stuff is very complicated, and to get to like true realism would probably kill everyone's computer. You'd need like a, I don't know, a supercomputer or something, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know what they were thinking by doing that. And yeah, it looks great. but it doesn't run, you know? And now it's abandoned, and it's like, was it even worth the money to put into that? You could have, you know, for the same
Yeah.
cost, you could have probably had a lot more done if they used the same engine, you know? And I
Hmm.
understand wanting to make improvements and everything like that. I get that, you know? But at the same time, like, there were so many mods available for the original Kerbal Space Program that you could add all sorts of stuff. They had a, interstellar mod, where it gave you new parts and new science and new all sorts of stuff, you know? And thousands of those probably existed, you know, hundreds even. But, it's just like, I don't know what they were thinking by doing that, and then they just dropped the ball out of nowhere, you know?
Yeah.
It's a sad story.
Yeah. It's yeah. I never really got to play it. I think I have it like because it was free on Epic or something.
Mhm.
But yeah, I watched you. Who'd you race? I can't remember.
It was against, Quill.
And neither of you got to the moon, huh?
No. Now he got much further because I think he either got to Earth orbit or was about to orbit the moon or something.
Okay.
And I don't even think I got to even Earth orbit or Kerbin orbit rather. Yeah, but that was a lot of fun. That was on console too. I remember when that came on console. And I wasn't used to doing like that. I'm used to doing on keyboard and mouse.
Oh, okay. Oh, so
Which is
it's not cross-platform at all?
I don't think it was. No, not at the time.
Huh. Oh, okay.
So we had to play on PlayStation. But it was still a lot of fun. Like I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was just used to keyboard and mouse. And so learning all the buttons and everything like that was a little interesting, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Really love the game. I started playing it again recently for a little bit. There's a guy named Scott Manley on YouTube who does some videos on it, and he's
A
he
manly
actually
man?
huh
A manly man?
yes. He actually used to work for Apple,
Oh,
or he might still. I'm not sure. And he did coding for like their updates, iOS updates.
okay.
But he was very much into like astrophysics and that kind of stuff. Not in a professional sense, like he wasn't a professional by any means.
Okay.
But he knew a lot about it and some rocket science and stuff like that. And so he would play the game and kind of explain how things worked and how orbital mechanics worked and all this kind of stuff. He made it really interesting. It was a lot of fun, and that's what got me into Kerbal Space Program in the beginning. Was watching his videos. Gosh, 10, 12 years ago. It was a long time. And, yeah, so that's what got me into the Kerbal Space Program in the first place. And then I hear, yeah, recently that Kerbal Space Program 2 was a thing, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I didn't even know it was out for early access. I thought it was just being, you know, being made or whatever. And then I find out I watched a video on it recently on a guy talking about how it's considered abandonware now, and I was like, "What? Like, it's been out that long? Like, I didn't realize." So,
Hmm.
it's sad because I was looking forward to playing it, and I don't know if they were adding new planets. I haven't looked into anything other than what I've heard on the news, you know. So I don't know if they were adding new stuff to it or how it was gonna work. But yeah, the fact that it's just abandoned now, it kind of makes me sad because I really enjoyed the first one. I was looking forward to the second one. So
Yeah. It kind of makes me think of like Among Us, how they were already kind of over the first one, right? And
hmm
then people on YouTube started playing it and it like blew up.
yeah,
And then they were like, well shit, we should make a second one with all these resources that we have. And they had started to do that. And then they were like, but we have look, we still like this community is still big in the first one, and people are gonna be like, what? Now we gotta buy the second one. So instead, what they did is all the features they were gonna put in two, they just worked it into one,
yeah,
which was like the smart thing to do. So it's almost like that's kind of what it makes me think. Like, why didn't these guys just work all that shit into one? But like you said,
yeah,
it's not even the same fucking company or people anymore. It
yeah,
seems like.
yeah. So but yeah, so that's my sad news.
Okay. Well,
So
it's really funny that you picked that because I did pick the Subnautica news.
oh, okay,
I saw that and it got me really upset because I was like, what the fuck? Like I've never played Subnautica 1. I
hmm
saw our friends June and Clover play it back in the day. They used to stream that game.
yeah,
And it did interest me, like it's a survival game, what is it? Like Escape from Tarkov, Minecraft,
yeah,
etc. That survival game, but it's underwater. Seemed pretty cool and it looks beautiful.
oh yeah,
And yeah, I guess there was a sequel on the way, which I had heard a while ago. I'm like, okay, cool. I think I even have Subnautica for free because of Epic. Again, Epic fucking just give me free games. I check every week, like, hey, what's there?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was I guess it was kind of like the same thing you were talking about, and a company bought them, and now this company that as completely took over has fired the founders,
Yeah.
like the three original guys who made the company slash the game. Which it's such a I don't understand how that kind of shit can happen.
Yeah. Like, you'd
Uh
think that there would be some sort of,
Fail
you would
safe.
make sure
Yeah.
there's some clause
Yeah.
when they buy the company, like, you can't just clean house, you know?
Yeah, that's what happened to Steve Jobs,
Yeah.
when he hired fucking John Scully from PepsiCo to take over Apple, and they fucking voted him out.
Yeah.
And, man, did he get his revenge. But, yeah, that irks me, like, I couldn't imagine starting something and then hiring somebody, and then that person fires me,
Yeah.
from my own fucking company, like, how?
Yeah.
And I remember thinking that recently when, Linus from LTT, stepped down as CEO, hired a CEO, and became chief visionary officer, and I was like, "I hope this dude, like, secured his job," and I'm pretty sure he has because Linus is he's very business savvy.
Yeah.
He's more business savvy than he is technical savvy, which is
He
funny.
really is, yeah.
When you listen to the WAN show, you're like, "Holy fuck, this guy has like a well of knowledge."
Yeah.
um, but yeah, this is fucked up, I mean, what can I really say? Crafton, I guess is the name of the company.
Mhm.
Yeah, they gutted the leadership. I guess the studio was called Unknown Worlds. Okay. And yeah, everyone was kind of like, what the fuck? Like what happened? And like one of the dudes, what's it called? He wrote a statement online, kind of saying like he wrote a Reddit post basically,
Mhm.
kind of giving the history of his development and stuff. And what blew my mind is the guy who did it. I can't remember his name exactly, but he made a what's it called? He made a Counter-Strike mod that I played way, way back in the day, like back in college,
Huh.
like 2002, 2003, called Natural Selection.
Okay.
And it was kind of like it was kind of like the terrorist versus the what was it in Counter-Strike? Like when one of you has to like disarm the bomb or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember, yeah.
But it was basically that, but it was humans and aliens.
Okay.
Right, and so one team would be the aliens and one team would be the humans, and it was very fun. I remember one of the types of aliens that I would be is the ones that could walk up on walls, and I would walk up a wall and stand above like a door frame and attack that way because it's just like no one can see you. You're someone's running into the room and they're like, "Where are they?" And we just like ambush that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did natural selection, which is pretty nuts, and he did a couple other projects, and then they found each other and made this thing, and people loved it, Subnautica and whatnot, and yeah. But actually, there's new news that developed. This just in, not really, it was like
Mm.
3 days ago, but they are filing a lawsuit against Crafton.
I heard about that. I hope it goes through.
Yeah, so they're actually fighting back. So when I
Yeah.
chose the story, this had not been a thing yet. So yeah, so now they're suing. Let's see. Like I'm learning this as I'm reading this.
Mhm.
Today the ongoing controversy surrounding Subnautica 2's delay by Crafton. Oh, right. So they kept delaying it, the ousting of its studio founders, and yeah, I guess there's like $250 million in bonuses.
Yeah. So the story behind that was that Crafton had told the developers, the team, that if they had it ready for early access by a certain time,
Mhm.
that they would all get a piece of this $250 million bonus.
Okay, so that makes sense then because the other thing that this guy wrote in the subreddit, he said it's early access ready.
Yeah. And they refused to release it. Yeah.
Exactly, to
Yeah.
basically rob these people of their bonuses.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's a very like that also kind of like touched a nerve for me because it reminded me of who does Borderlands? Is that Gearbox?
Yeah.
So those fuckers completely denied their developers of their bonuses after Borderlands 3.
Ooh.
Like, just said no after they promised it to them.
That's yeah.
No
That's
reason. I don't even know what happened with that, but I was like, "What the fuck?"
that's
And
that's not good.
I remember when I was streaming, like, I had people that wanted that were like, "Hey, we want to give you subs and whatever so you could play Borderlands 3." And I was stoked. And then when I heard that news, I was like, "Sorry guys, I can't support this. I can't support this studio and give them my money when they can't give their own developers the money that they agreed to."
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't written down. It was like a handshake deal or some shit
Okay.
like
Yeah.
that, like it was a promise, it was an incentive. Like, "Get it done, guys, and you'll all get bonuses." And then they fucked them at the end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but let's see, it's a former leadership files a breach of contract lawsuit against Crafton. "We've now filed a lawsuit against Crafton. The details should eventually come, at least mostly public. You all deserve the full story." So, yeah, I mean, I guess they're probably that's probably what they're doing. Is
Yeah.
they're probably trying to expose this thing that we all know they're doing,
Mhm. Mhm. It's very
basically.
predatory. Yeah.
Yeah, and saying like they fired us because we wanted to release this is my speculation. They
Mhm.
fired us because we wanted to release the game so that everyone can get their bonuses because it is ready. It's not, it's not premature. I mean, it's early access. Early access already is premature, but I'm sure they have like a prototype that's good enough for people to test and alpha test basically. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that's what's happening here. I think that's what's going to be going on is uh you know, I kind of want to keep up with this cuz it's like it's brand new and it's well, not brand new, but like what's it called? Developing.
Yeah.
The story is developing. It's not
Yeah.
just over and done with already. It's still ongoing. Unlike your story, it sounds like your guys are dead.
Yeah. Sadly.
Those guys gave up. They're like, "Fuck it."
Um, Another thing I heard too is those three executives that they had fired, the originals. I guess they were very good, and many people from the company, like lower status employees, had come out and said this. They were very good about giving bonuses to them and making sure they all got fair pay, and not one of these like, oh, we have 250 million, so we'll split up 200 million among us, executives, and then the rest will give to all the other employees, and they'll get like $10,000 each, maybe. One of
Mhm.
those things, like a lot of companies do. These guys were very good about sharing the wealth, and I guess
Yeah.
it was one of the lead guys. Like one of his things that he was very very stout about. Like I want to make sure that my employees are taken care of. So I can't even imagine what those employees feel like now, having been taken over, and then their original bosses are fired. It's like, what? I almost feel like if I was in that position, I'm walking away from the company.
Yeah, I would probably join because so the subreddit post also said that this is not the end and looking forward to like new projects basically. So
Yeah.
that's what I would do if I was those developers at Crafton or sorry, what is it? Unknown Worlds. I would follow those leaders.
Yeah.
If they were that good of leaders, I would follow them. And who knows, maybe they're probably encouraging them not to just
That could
because it
be.
may
Yeah.
legally look like they're poaching,
Yeah.
so there's that danger. Maybe they're probably like, let's wait until we oust them
Mhm.
and not oust them, but like out them, out
Yeah.
the and
Make it public. Yeah.
let the dust settle, and then you guys should walk. Like definitely. Also, like I'm sure they don't have any money to pay these people,
Right. Yeah.
right? Like
Which
don't give
is
up your jobs
yeah.
until you are financially comfortable. And if you got to leave, you got to leave. But don't
Mhm.
join us and don't go down with the ship,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Which is it's very honorable if that is what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's what they would
Like
be doing.
yeah, it speaks to them as leaders. They're not just CEOs, they're not just bosses, they are leaders, and that's the difference.
Yeah,
Is leaders have your best interest in mind. A boss is, I'm just going to use you to gain more money.
right.
So, but yeah, it's a sad, it's not a good story, and I remember hearing about that too, and I was like, you got to be kidding me, because I played both Subnautica and Below Zero.
Oh
Below
yeah, okay.
Zero was kind of like an expansion slash DLC. It's a full game in of itself, but it's they're a lot of fun. I loved them. I believe for Below Zero, I got all of the achievements on Steam. So that's a rarity, you know.
Mhm.
And I've seen other people play the game. Other people, it's such a fun, immersive game, and it's one of those games where you can play it however you want. You know, if you want to follow the storyline, you can. If you want to just build a bunch of stuff and do all that and explore everything, you can. You know, it's just like Minecraft. You know, in that sense, where you can play how you want. I don't know if there's a lot of mods available. I believe someone tried to make a multiplayer mod for the original one. I don't know how well it worked. But that's one of the things they wanted to implement in Subnautica 2 was make
Mhm.
it multiplayer or have
I
the
was
option to play multiplayer.
I was gonna ask, yeah, if the first one was multiplayer, but no, it was a single player experience, right?
Yeah, so both the first one and the expansion were single player. I think they tried to make some mods for multiplayer. I don't know how well they worked. I heard that in the beginning they were kind of buggy. I don't know if they continued developing after that.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's all sorts of mods. You can have mods where you can change the size of the creatures. You can add new creatures. I mean, up until probably like 6 months or so ago, I was hearing about mods being released for this first Subnautica, and this is well after the second Subnautica was announced. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you've seen any of it. They have actual gameplay of Subnautica 2. It is definitely ready for for early access.
Oh,
Like
okay,
I've
wow.
seen much worse released for early access. And when they showed the first Subnautica when it was released for early access, there was almost nothing there. You know,
Yeah.
you couldn't build very much. You could just explore around. You couldn't even like make any of the ships or anything. You know, it was very barren. It was very basic, but they built it into such a great game because they listened to the gamers, the players, and everything, and they took all that into what they put in the game, and they clearly it was a work of love. And then they
Mhm.
came out with Below Zero, and now it was a whole experience in itself. It was much more story focused than the first one was. You know, there's a lot more story to it and everything, which a lot of people love. Some people didn't care for. That's fine, you know, but
Yeah.
it was what it was. And then yeah, they announced Subnautica 2, and I remember when they mentioned like, "Oh, we're gonna implement multiplayer," and a lot of people were excited about that. And they've shown gameplay and everything, and footage of it and all that kind of stuff. And you can tell some of it is pre-rendered, obviously, you know,
Yeah.
but you can also tell like that some of it looks like actual gameplay, and it's ready to go. You know, they have all sorts of creatures in there, and they react to things differently depending on their surroundings and their environment and everything, and time of day and all that kind of stuff. It's really interesting. So
Okay.
it's sad that it got shut down like it did, and I'm pissed at Crafton, as I'm sure many other people are,
Right.
that it was not released for early access because it's clearly ready for it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, "Jesus Christ." So I immediately texted you and I was just like, "I found my bad news."
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Yeah,
It
well,
really is.
we'll keep following that. We'll probably, keep mentioning that as it develops.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, doesn't sound great. Good luck to those developers, and hopefully it does the environment doesn't change too much because 'cause I'm sure morale is not great right now.
Yeah. My biggest hope is that this lawsuit either blows over and they just settle, or they win and get control of the company back, and they continue developing the amazing game that they were, you know,
Yeah.
because they deserve it. Not just us as players. I'm not talking about us, but those three executives. They deserve to have their jobs back and everything, and everyone that works for them deserves to have them as their leaders.
Yeah,
You
good work
know, so
environment.
yeah, you don't find that a lot these days, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
Alright, well, give me some good news, man.
all right. Well, this is not something we normally cover on this
Oh?
channel, but I thought we would venture out a little bit.
Okay.
It is tech related, but it's medical tech.
Oh,
So you're aware that there are like text to speech things for people you like Stephen Hawking. I can't think of anyone else famous that would have something like that, but they have those implants, or they have the eye control thing where it'll select like letters and stuff, and it'll change that into words, but it's basically like a text to speech program.
yeah.
So I was reading recently, TechSpot released a article that UC Davis, which I live very close to,
Uh-huh.
has developed a new technology for people who are unable to talk, whether due to like what do you call it, paralysis, or any other thing that causes you not to be able to speak. They've developed these little probes, basically, go into your brain, the speech pattern in your brain,
Oh.
and will actually mimic natural speech. So it's not just
Oh.
a text to speech program that like takes it and you decide what it wants to say and it changes it to text to speech, but it actually does like intonation. It can change pitch. There was an example of someone that was able to sing a few melodies,
Uh-huh.
and they actually it actually sounds like natural speech, like you're actually able to interrupt people. Like I said, you can change pitch and everything like that. It's a brand new technology,
Yeah.
and I guess 60% of what they try to say can be understood versus 4% of what they would normally be able to say.
Right.
So it's a
Okay.
huge, huge thing. I told my wife about this the other day, and she was very excited about that. But yeah, it synthesizes actual speech almost instantaneously. I guess it uh, the effect is digital recreation of the vocal tract, enabling natural conversation with the ability to interrupt, ask questions, and express emotion through changes in pitch and emphasis.
Emphasis?
Emphasis, yep. They can put their emphasis on the right syllables.
That's that's great.
Um,
That
yeah.
it makes me think of so I listen to Conan,
Mhm,
and he a few months back, maybe last year, had a listener guest on, and it was a couple, and the wife was basically showing off something that they had come in contact with, kind of like what you're saying, like text to speech.
mhm,
So this is like actual text to speech. But what they did is they knew the husband was slowly losing his ability to speak. Right? I forget exactly what disease he has that
mhm.
like now has crippled him pretty much in the speech area. And basically what they did is they recorded his voice like like thousands of hours of recordings of him saying things, whatever, in
Mhm,
different styles and whatever.
mhm.
Basically, all the stuff that you're saying, but without going into your brain, right?
Right.
So he had all these hours recorded, and they trained a model to basically, yeah, basically just be him, and he can. I don't remember if he. I think he types with his eyes, like the way you were saying, like with
Yeah.
the
It's got, like, an eye tracker, yeah.
yeah, so he types with his eyes, and, yeah, when he talks, it sounded like a person, right? Like, on
Yeah.
the pod, it sounded like a person was coming at like it was a pre-recording is what it sounded like. Not like a person, but like a pre-recording.
Right, yeah.
But, Conan being Conan was like, "How do I know this isn't, something you already recorded and are playing for us right now?" And then, like a little bit of time goes by, and like the response happens because he's got to like type it with his eyes and shit.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
he's like, "Well, obviously this took me a while to say to you, but I'm responding to you, and blah blah blah, this and that." But that reminds me of that text. So this is like beyond that. So that sounds pretty dope because yeah, imagine you lost your speech already.
Yeah.
How are you going to train this model to sound like you?
Mhm.
Um, so uh, so is that what can this tech do that too? Like it sounds
I
like what
don't
you used to?
I don't know if it'll sound like what you used to necessarily. I mean, they might be able to do like you said, if someone is losing their voice, over time, they might be able to implement that.
Yeah.
But all it does is does changes in pitch and everything like that. I don't know if the voice would actually sound like you.
Okay.
But yeah, speaking of stuff like that, fun fact regarding Stephen Hawking,
Uh-huh.
his voice is actually copyrighted. Did you know that?
What do you mean?
Like his exact voice that he used, that exact like tone and everything is copyrighted.
That's just the Microsoft voice.
His was slightly different, from what I hear.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I remember playing with that voice back in the day, like Windows 95 and 98 and shit.
Right? Yeah.
That's just the Microsoft voice. I'm speaking at 151 words per minute. Like that. What the fuck? Okay,
Yeah,
well, that's a weird fact.
yeah. But, yeah, this does I guess it uses an AI algorithm, and attaches directly to the speech pattern of the speech part of the brain. and these people will train by reading or trying to. So they'll be given a specific sentence to read, and then they have to think about that sentence,
Hmm.
and they do this over months or years. I'm not sure exactly what the timeline is, and that's how they train this algorithm or the computer to recognize what they're saying. And then over time, as it learns, as they say all these sentences and everything, and it learns and adapts and everything, that's how they're able to speak naturally, and that's how it's able to decode all those the signals and everything from the brain. So I thought that was really interesting.
Right.
That's how that works, and it makes sense. Like, you know, if you're wanting to, like, I know they for a while they were trying to figure out how to take images from people's minds, and they would start doing that by they'd have an MRI running, an active MRI, and they'd show someone an image of like a block and say, okay, focus on this block, think about
Hmm.
this block, just imagine this block. You know, do that with several different shapes and items and stuff. And then they would have someone go to sleep and they'd connect all these electrodes to them and they would try to reenact what they're dreaming. Now
Okay.
they could only get simple objects like baseballs and stuff like that, but they think they were able to adapt some of what they were actually dreaming and turn it into like a simple video, more like a slideshow. But you know, the fact that they could do that, and this was probably like 5 years ago, is really amazing. You know, and so I'm curious as to how far that's come even now. But you know, with this speech, you know, it's incredible what we can do with the human mind and just adding some AI and some computer programming and stuff like to interpret these things. It's amazing the technology we have that's available to us,
Uh-huh.
and that's getting better every day and every year and every decade and stuff like that. It's amazing. So
Yeah, this is AI for good.
yes,
Finally.
yeah,
Jesus.
that and making everything sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes. And my axe.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
uh,
I want every movie to just have Arnold.
yes, or the option to anyway.
Or everybody in the Metal Gear series to be voiced by Arnold.
Yeah, right.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Good luck, Snake. Impressive, Snake.
Hello,
Now,
brother.
now, in front of you, I can die.
Snake.
Oh man, that'd be the best.
Can you find love on the battlefield?
uh,
Just imagine how all those classic lines would
did
change.
you say nerd? Jack, do you know what day it is tomorrow?
Oh man, that might actually make me tolerate Rose.
Right? But not just replace their voices, but also their faces. Like they did on that fucking Lord of the Rings TikTok. Just replace the faces with Arnold. Oh my god.
Man.
I'll get right on that. I will voice it all. I'll do it. Shit. Well, yeah, that is great news. Not just good news, that's great news.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah.
So my bit of good news actually was like brand spanking new to me. One of our listeners kind of brought this to my attention that there's a new Resident Evil movie on the horizon,
Oh?
being directed by Zach Krager. I think I mentioned it on our other podcast, our Monster Hunter podcast. Zach Krager was one of the founders of Whitest Kids You Know.
Oh yeah, okay. You did mention that, yeah.
Yeah, he's like the blondish guy, kind of looks like Ryan Reynolds.
Mhm.
That's the only way I can describe him. He's out of all the Whitest Kids You Know, he's the guy who looks more like Ryan Reynolds, but it's like way shorter. Anyways, yeah, so I guess he directed Barbarian, which I didn't know. And yeah, so he is up to do that. And basically he's stating that he's not really going to like adhere so much to the lore of the movies, which I mean, we're already kind of used to that with the Paul W.S. Anderson shit.
Mhm.
That Welcome to Raccoon City movie flopped. I think there's also like a TV series that happened on Netflix. I haven't even seen that. And I think it got canceled like halfway through the season.
Oh dang.
So yeah, I mean, I I think this will be a good thing just because this guy knows how to do horror, but funny.
Okay.
Like it's not meant to be funny, but it's funny because of the circumstances.
Yeah.
So like if you watch Barbarian, like it's definitely not a funny movie, but just the things that happen, you're just like, what's the word? Like it's so over the top outrageous that you kind of have
Yeah.
to laugh at the situation.
Okay.
So if he can do that with Resident Evil, which when you play those games, which I know you haven't, but when you play those games, there is an inherent humor to it that the game doesn't point out,
Yeah.
right? That and I think that's what the problem was with the later games is that they became silly and like the game didn't know that they were silly.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Resident Evil 5 did some really silly shit that was just like, this is kind of cringe, to be honest. Like,
Hmm.
what are you guys doing? So yeah, but no, I'm like I'm looking forward to this. I hate the Paul W. S. Anderson versions. Chris and I are halfway through the series right now.
Yep.
If you guys want to join the Patreon, you can listen to our film commentary on them. But yeah, Zach Krieger. I actually didn't even know that guy's name. I knew the other whitest kids you know guy, Trevor Noah, not Trevor Noah, sorry, Trevor Moore. He passed away years ago, but
Okay.
he if have you seen Whitest Kids You Know?
I have not.
Oh my god, please take some time out of your day
I
and
will.
just watch some like YouTube clips or something of Whitest Kids You Know because it's sketch comedy basically.
Okay.
And yeah, they're literally like the title of the show is so fitting. Like these are the whitest kids you have ever met in your life. But the sketch comedy is so funny. It's kind of like above, like just a little bit more above outrageous from like oh shit, what were they called? Ah fuck. I can't think of their names. I'm gonna have to look at comedy sketch shows. Click. Oh. Okay, there we go. I was like, did I just lose internet? uh Ben Stiller had a show? That's weird. I think was one of them like The Kids Are All Right or something like that? Oh, Kids in the Hall?
Okay, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, Kids in the Hall had like fuck, there's a bunch of dudes that came out of that. But it's more like that humor times uh a million. Like you could tell they definitely had some like Conan influence where them watching Conan was like, "Oh, we could do this on television? Like let's go
Hmm.
how much further can we go beyond Conan?" Like basically. Yeah, like one of my favorite sketches is when Trevor Moore is like, I'm gonna do 30 days of surviving off of nothing but whiskey, kind of like the super size me thing.
Hmm.
And so he like calls like Jack Daniels or something, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this challenge where I survive off of nothing but your guys' whiskey. Like, what do I gotta do for you guys to sponsor me?" And like the guy on the end of the line is like, no, you shouldn't do that. Like, we're not gonna support this. And he's like, well, fuck it, whatever. And fucking you could just see like there's like it cuts to different scenes as he's getting drunker and drunker throughout the like not even throughout the week. Like by the third day, he's like at the top of a staircase and he's like, hey, wanna watch me jump off of this flight of stairs and land on my side? And then it just like cuts to him the next morning going like, oh, apparently the whiskey is starting to affect my liver because I have this bruise right here under my rib. Oh no, it's backwards. He says that first, and then it cuts to him the night before saying,
Oh,
"Watch me jump
okay.
off of the staircase, dude." And it's like, no, you idiot, you jumped off the top of the stairs. But yeah, and then like what's sad though is like after that it says like 2 days later or whatever, we haven't heard from this guy, like he died or something. And it's literally the one guy from Whitest Kids You Know who actually died. And it's like, God damn it. Like this fool like fucking like predicted his own goddamn future. Anyways,
Jeez.
yeah, new Resident Evil movie. Kind of stoked on it. I mean, I was stoked on Welcome to Raccoon City because it looked like they were gonna be. I mean, I guess they were more loyal to the material.
Yeah.
But I guess it was just I didn't even see it. It was just so bad that they were like, nah, bro, like this is bad.
Huh.
But yeah, I do like me a comedian or a director who started out as a comedian
Yeah.
making a genre or making content for a genre that they're not really that doesn't seem like they're built for that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like say Jordan Peele. He directed like Us and Get Out, and what is that other horror movie? I forget. But yeah, he directed like 3 horror movies basically, and they're all great,
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he knows what he's doing. Like he has a passion for horror, even though, he started with the Key and Peele show or whatever the fuck,
Mhm.
or I mean the Chappelle Show ripoff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my bit of good news for gamers.
Nice.
Resident Evil. That's kind of a short one, but it was just kind of like dropped on my lap yesterday while I was streaming. I was like, oh shit, like this is actually looking pretty good because the fans of Resident Evil are divided, you know?
Mhm.
Like I haven't played through all the games, but I know what the movies shouldn't be.
Yeah.
you know? Like clearly, like there should not be an invincible protagonist named Alice who also sucks at acting. Like this is not a thing that should be happening.
Yeah.
But it happened 6 times, even though she didn't wanna come back for the 3rd one.
Yeah.
And her husband was like, "No, come on. It'll be fun."
It's fine. The people will love it.
"Yeah, you're hot right now, so we need to do it while you're still hot."
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's pretty much it on my end.
Alright.
Any other, side things, any bonuses or anything?
Not to come to mind right now. No, I was trying to think about that, but nothing really comes to mind, so
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any kind of, release date for this. Oh, September well, I don't think this is 100%, but I think this might be a tentative date, September 18th, 2026.
okay.
So next year, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Good luck, Zach Krieger, if I'm saying your last name correctly. Or is it Zach? Zach Krieger?
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to our news and our rants and our hot takes. This has been our official Pixel Benders podcast. If you guys would like to write in, you can do so at fans.pixelbenders@gmail.com. You could also leave us a voice message at 209-791-0995. But of course, the best way to interact with us is through our Discord, and the link is down below if you just want to join. And you could also watch us stream some video games on Twitch. Links for that are also down below. And if you would like to support the pod and the other mini pods that we have, you could do so through Patreon. You get live access to the pod recordings, early access to episodes. You can be our guest, and you also get access to our bonus content like Let's Plays, movie reviews, and film commentaries. Also, if you could leave us a review, we would greatly appreciate it. If you leave some words, we will read them out for you. Well, I know for us. Who are we reading them for?
Both.
Okay, for each other, and we'll hold each other as we read them out loud.
Yes.
And if you would like to share us on your socials, we would greatly appreciate it. Yeah, so that was the show, man. We did it again.
All right. Another
I,
one. Another one done.
yeah, I have been Noise,
I'm DammitKriss.
and we'll see you guys in the next show / whatever. I don't know what this is. Goodbye.
Bye.